Welcome to the Green Hat Local SEO Podcast, where Kyle Sabra delivers hard-hitting, actionable tips and strategies to help business owners dominate their local market and crush the competition. Kyle's no-holds-barred approach cuts through the noise of traditional SEO, focusing on battle-tested tactics that deliver real results. He's here to arm you with the tools you need to skyrocket your rankings, generate more leads, and grow your business online. If you're tired of hearing the same old SEO nonsense and want to learn the truth, this is the podcast for you. Get ready to put on your green hats and learn SEO secrets the other guys can't handle. Now, here's your host, Kyle Sabra.
Hi, this is Kyle from Green Hat Local SEO, and in this episode I want to talk about something that I don't think a lot of people really have a good understanding of, and that is indexing. So if you're not clear or haven't heard of this term before, or you're still not really sure what it means, indexing really just means does Google like your content? Is it being put into what's called Google's index, which is their collection of posts or pages, and is it being shown to users, right? So every once in a while, you'll hear people bitch and moan about, oh, their shit isn't getting indexed, and oh, blah, 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 Google's fucked everything up. But really, that's not the case at all. Yes, Google is fucking up left and right, and has been for years now, because I've been saying for a while the best and the brightest are not going to Google anymore. They're going to all of these AI startups like OpenAI, Anthropic, even over to Twitter to work on Grok and things like that. And indexing has taken a hit, but really what it is Google is just tightening up their standards as far as what they want in their index. Like everything else, Google has a budget, and there's not just monetarily, but space-wise, right? So not everything is going to be put in their index, because not everything is worthy of being indexed, and that includes your shitty content. And so for indexing, what this means is Google needs to find your content, which is called discovery, right? So if Google can't find your content, then there's no fucking way that they're going to be able to index it, right? Then there's what's called crawling, which is they're going to go to your page and actually crawl the content, read the content. And this is done in two different parts, right? So when they discover a page, cool, awesome, they know it's there, they're going to crawl it. What they're going to do first is they're going to hit what's called the HTML, right? So if you go to the page source, if you go to view source, if you're using Google Chrome, and you see all this gobbledygook of code and everything, that's your source code, and a lot of that is going to be HTML. And this is all stuff that Google can read. This is all stuff that's on your server. And then they go through again, and they hit everything that's being rendered with JavaScript, which is a specific type of coding language that renders things that people can see, but bots, what's on the servers, usually can't, right? Or sometimes you'll see these things with animations and stuff could be done with JavaScript. So one problem with a lot of websites is, and this was not so much a problem now, but it was a big problem 3 or 4 years ago when React started getting really popular and people were making single-page web apps, is they were rendering content with JavaScript. And Google can't fucking read JavaScript, so any content that was done with JavaScript just wasn't being seen by Google. So right away, if Google can't actually read your content, of course nothing's going to get indexed. Another thing too is that Google isn't indexing everything, like I said, because some content just is too fucking shitty to actually get indexed, right? So it wasn't like it was 10 years ago where you publish something and it gets indexed almost immediately. Literally, back until about the year 2020, 2021, I was getting people on the first page of Google. The quickest I ever did was 3 minutes, right? So it's not like that anymore. It oftentimes will take days to get things indexed, unless you're publishing things constantly, for example, like a news site, or if you have a forum that's being updated constantly. So you publish your page, you run it through the URL inspection tool in Search Console, and it might be a couple days before your content actually gets indexed, right? So the other thing too is that just because something isn't indexed doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing. I hear a lot when people come to me for advice on link building, or even clients. They say, "Hey, these links haven't actually indexed or anything." Well, that's okay, because you know what? Google has this thing called the link graph. I'm sure you've heard me and other SEOs talk about a knowledge graph. Well, part of that is the link graph. And literally every single link that it has goes into this link graph. And you get credit for these links even if the pages themselves aren't indexed, right? So even if a page isn't indexed on your site, as long as Google crawls it, it has knowledge of it there. And just like with a lot of SEO Neo links, because we use a lot of SEO Neo in our link building, Google will crawl those links, and these pages are honestly, they're not good. They're shitty pages. With our process with SEO Neo, we use this program called Cora to write all the content. So we write all the content as if we wanted it to rank, right? Because according to our link building process, a proprietary link building process, you have 3 things that you need to hit with every single link. You want to get page rank, which is what people think of as DA or DR. You got to get relevance, content relevance, and you also just got to get a fuck ton of links, right? So with SEO Neo, if you're just using shitty OpenAI content, like the OpenAI module on there, you're not really going to get contextually relevant content. It's obviously AI. There's no keywords or entities in there, so you're not getting credit for that, right? But if you actually write these like you want to rank, then a lot of these SEO Neo pages, not all of them, but a lot of them will get indexed. And we've seen some of our SEO Neo links actually get on the first page. They get indexed, and they get crawled and indexed, and they get sorted. But that is not the end all be all of link building. Like I said, as long as you get your links crawled, even if they don't get indexed, you still get credit for those links. Those links are still pushing power to your page. So in that case, it really doesn't matter if you get these indexed. Don't fucking waste your time sending your links to an indexer like Omega Indexer over and over and over and over again, hoping that it'll index, because it probably fucking won't, right? Just use co-linkery to get these things indexed. Really, all you have to do is get Google to crawl your content. There are a lot of ways that you can get your links crawled, your pages crawled. You can submit them to the inspect URL tool if their page is on your site. You can use an indexer like Synbyte. You can use Omega Indexer, Speed Links, Rapid URL Indexer, things like that. Or really, all you need to do is get Google to crawl the links, because one thing on your website, if you want to get these pages indexed, and you don't want to sit there and monitor your pages and resubmit them over and over and over again, use a software called Rank Week. Rank Week will actually do this for you automatically. It detects to see if these pages are in the index, and if not, it'll resubmit them via API to Google's indexer, right? And it'll do that until they're indexed. Obviously, some pages, like I said, aren't worthy of being indexed. If you have not tried to write good content, if you have not tried to write unique content or content that Google understands, then fuck no, Google's not going to index your shit. But as long as you're writing content that you're using something like Cora or Page Optimizer Pro, or God forbid, Surfer or Neuron Writer, it's going to give you a lot of the keywords and entities that Google's looking for, and you have a really good chance of getting that content indexed. But if you're just copying and pasting from like OpenAI or from ChatGPT or whatever ChatGPT wrapper is popular today, you're probably not going to get your stuff indexed, because honestly, it kind of sucks. And Google has specifically come out and said that they're not going to index low quality AI content anymore. They out and out said it, right? So we know now that Google has caught on that, and there are watermarks that at least OpenAI uses that Google has caught on to, so it knows exactly what content is AI, and then it performs. Then it checks again. Okay, this is obviously AI content. Is this even good? And if it's not, then into the trash it goes. Does not get indexed at all. Right? So what if your stuff isn't getting indexed? Well, like I said, for one, if it's your guest posts, your niche edits, your SEO Neo runs, stuff like that, as long as you get it seen and crawled by Google, you're okay. So what you can do is you can use an indexer like Omega Indexer if it's just like a guest post or niche edits. For PBN links, like if you're using SEO Neo, or if you're buying from some vendor who does like $2 per link, those are going to be PBN links. Don't waste your credits on an indexer. Just use something called co-linkry, which actually uses an API to call Googlebot over those pages, and Googlebot will read those pages. It will take a note of the links that are in there, give you credit for the links, but not necessarily index that content, which again, you really don't care about because it's shitty content anyway. You just want the links, right? Another way you can do it is to put your links into a Google sheet and make that sheet public, and then get that sheet crawled. And then Google will actually go 8,000 rows down to crawl those links. So if you have 5,000 links you want crawled, use this method. For your own site, though, for your own content, you want that stuff indexed, right? You want that stuff actually being seen by users. So if your stuff isn't getting indexed, one, there might be an update coming up. Google typically stops indexing new content a couple weeks before a core algorithm update hits, right? If there is no core algorithm update, make sure that your page is not set to no index, right? That happens sometimes. And if it's still not indexing, then your content sucks and needs to be rewritten. If your content, like I said, you need to write your content using something like Page Optimizer Pro or Quora. Those are the two best softwares to use. Our content always gets indexed, and this is what we use. We use Quora, Page Optimizer Pro, and then our own unique process to write content. If you're not using those, then you know what? Fuck you. You deserve not to get your content indexed. But if you've rewritten your stuff and you know it's optimized with Page Optimizer Pro and Quora, you've run it through the URL inspection tool in Google Search Console, you have internal link going to the page, and it's still not getting indexed, then Google has probably decided it hates that URL because your content was so bad it never wants to see that shit again. So then what you need to do is just fuck it, that URL is dead, and you need to get a new URL and publish your content on that new URL. And that's the only way really to get around that if your old URL has gotten penalized and kind of, I guess, blacklisted because your content sucked so bad. It sucks so bad that Google's like, fuck this shit, I'm never coming back here again, right? So that's about it for this short episode on indexing. So indexing really just means, is your content being shown to users, right? Google does not index every document they get because a lot of them honestly aren't worthy of being indexed, right? This includes content that you are writing with like OpenAI or whatever, because it's shitty content. It doesn't have the keywords in there. And honestly, it's not giving Google anything new to show users. If it already has this information, it's seen it 100 times, why would it want to show to users again and again and again? Right? Don't worry about indexing stuff like SEO Neo links or niche edits or guest posts. Just make sure Google crawls those. Then you get credit for the links and you're going to get that SEO goodness. There really is no reason to bother indexing that stuff. Just make sure it's in the link graph. If you want to index or get Google to crawl your links, use Omega Indexer, use co-linkry, or you can do things like stick them into an Excel sheet. Google goes 8,000 rows down when crawling Excel sheets. You can stick them into a Google Doc, really any Google property, and then make that publicly available on the web, and then Google will crawl those and give you credit for the links. So again, my name is Kyle Sabra from Green Hat Local SEO. For more tips and tricks, visit us at ghls.io. Check out the testing group we do with Rank Advantage Phoenix with Moon Hussein. And if you want us to do this stuff for you so you don't have to worry about it, again, contact us at ghls.io. I'm going to make a case study where I got a med spa ranking in the map pack, and really in just 1 week. It was pretty fucking sweet. So if you want us to do this for you, if you want better map pack rankings, contact us, ghls.io, and I will talk to you later.